So, welcome, and when you are ready, just make your way down onto your back. You don't need any props underneath the knees, excuse me, or underneath the body to support, but if you would like something underneath the back of the head, just grabbing a blanket or a cushion, something that you can use just to support the neck a little bit and keep it in a neutral position. And if you just start with the soles of the feet grounded and the knees pointing up to the ceiling, we'll just let the spine and the pelvis release there for a moment. And then resting the arms down at the sides of the body. And then just close the eyes and let the breath flow in and out through your nose. Relaxing your jaw, starting to soften the muscles around the eyes. Feeling your shoulders relaxing down. Just feeling the whole body releasing down into your mat. And then decide whether you want to stay with the legs this way. So soles of the feet grounded and knees pointing up to the ceiling. Or whether you want to extend the legs out along your mat, moving into Shavasana. So soles of the feet grounded is a constructive rest position. So it's actually helping to bring your lower back and pelvis into a more neutral position. So it's slightly more comfortable for some. Stretching the legs out can be really comfortable for some people, can throw a little bit of sensitivity into the lower back, if it's a bit of a vulnerable area. So just pick what works for you. We'll move the hands onto the belly and we'll just start breathing up into the hands. So you start tuning into that rise and fall of your breath in the belly. Inhaling, exhale slow and steady. Giving yourself this time to be present. Start that process of turning your focus inwards to how the body feels in this moment, to how the breath is flowing in this moment, and to how you feel mentally and emotionally in this moment. And usually we find a lot of our suffering is caused by living in the past or living in the future, not living in the present. You might just start noticing the little things, the textures, the different surfaces beneath your body, around your body. Noticing the feel of your clothes on the body. Noticing the temperature of the space that you are in. And tuning into any sounds that you are aware of. We are drawing in information about the outside world all the time through our senses. What we can hear and see and feel and smell. And observing all of those things from a very neutral standpoint or neutral position is mindful meditation. We're just becoming still, noticing our environment without trying to interpret that environment. We'll get into the whys or the hows. We just notice and accept and move on to the next sound or sensation. We give ourselves a few more rounds of breath where we are. Perhaps using this time just to set an intention for your practice this morning. What would be useful to you? What could you cultivate on your mat this morning that would be useful to you off the mat? It could be just building up more pockets of time where you are completely present. It could be building patience. Be working on acceptance of the things that you notice around you, or even acceptance of the various thoughts and movements of the mind. Whatever it is, whatever you think you could do with more of in your day, just reflecting on that now. And then we'll just start a little bit of movement with the body, somatic movement. So instead of just wriggling without too much attention being paid to kind of how we're moving or why we're moving, somatic movement is all about being totally present and aware of each movement your body's making. So we're just going to take the attention down into the left foot. Flex that foot. Point the toes up towards the ceiling. So you feel that left leg engaging a little bit. And then just start to turn the toes out to the left so that whole thigh rolls out from the hip down. And then point the toes back up to the ceiling. And then let the toes turn out. And then draw back up. One more time like that, turning the toes out to the side. And then pointing them back up to the ceiling. We add on from here. Start to bend the knees, slide that left foot along the floor, just into towards that left buttock, and then slide the leg all the way back out again. Turn the toes out to the left, turn them back up to the ceiling, and then slide that foot in towards your body again. And again, extending the leg out, toes to the left, toes to the ceiling. This time sliding that knee back in, hugging it in towards your chest. Keep the hands resting on the belly. So just draw that leg up, feel your lower back releasing down to the ground. And then placing that foot onto the floor, sliding it back out. Toes point up, toes turn out. And then just do a couple more in your own time. Rest of the body stays relaxed, switched off as we move that left leg and left foot. The next time you draw that knee into your body, just wrap the hands around the shin and move the leg a little bit off to the side. So instead of hugging it into the belly, hug it more into the side of the rib cage. So drawing that leg in, letting your shoulders soften, and then just starting to move that leg around in really tiny circles. So at the same time we release the hip, we're releasing the lower back. So where that arch might have been before, take a few circles each way. And then we're going to pop that left foot back down onto the floor, slide the leg out, and just pause there for a moment. Breathing in and breathing out. And then the tension down to that right foot. Flexing the foot so the toes point up to the ceiling. Starting to turn out from your right hip. So turning the toes to the right, back up to the ceiling. And then out to the right again, up to the ceiling. We'll do that once more. Turning out and then coming back. Starting to slide that foot in, bringing the heel in towards that right buttock. And then sliding that foot back out, foot flex, toes pointing up. Turn them to the right. Turn them back up to the ceiling and then slide that leg back in. Exhaling, stretching out. Turn the toes to the right, to the ceiling, and slide that knee in this time. Pulling the knee in towards your body, hands stay resting on the belly, lower back opens. Placing that foot to the floor. And then extending the leg out again. And just starting to get into your own rhythm with it. Do 2 or 3 more. You can have your eyes closed for this. If you're comfortable closing down the eyes. So quite often we use the eyes for that bit of feedback as to how we are moving and positioning the body, what our alignment is like. And when we close the eyes down, we have to rely on that sense of proprioception. So the body's almost like the body's sixth sense, how we know where we are in space. I'm not talking about the solar system, but talking about how we know how we're positioning our body, how we know when we lift the knee into the chest that the knee is actually into the chest. Being able to feel how we're placing and how we're moving our body rather than relying on our sight. So the next time you hug your right knee into your body, interlacing the hands around the shins, just letting that knee open out to the side a little bit so it's next to the rib cage, not lying on your tummy. And then again, just getting into a really slow, stirring movement. Making some small hip circles with that right leg. Changing direction, doing a few the other way when you're ready. And then we'll place that right foot back to the floor. Slide that right leg out. Again, just pausing here for a moment, letting your lower body rest. Take your fingertips up onto your shoulders, elbows right in at the sides of your body, and then point the elbows up to the ceiling. Try and point them back behind you, and then take some big circles with the arms, opening the elbows out wide, drawing them back into your body, pointing them up to the sky, and so on and so forth, making those big shoulder rotations. If you're more comfortable grounding the soles of your feet as you do this, then just point the knees up to the ceiling. Changing direction in a moment when you're ready. Just reversing those circles a few times. Inhaling and exhaling. And then let's release the arms as well. Hugging both knees up into your chest, one hand on each shin, and just rolling the legs around, starting those bigger hip circles now, oiling up the hip joints so everything glides nicely as you move through the rest of your day. Few circles one way, and then reverse, take a few circles the other way. And then let's hug the knees back in towards each other. Take a little roll over to the side of your body, right side or left side, and then bring yourself up off of your mat. And we'll just sit with the legs out in front of us for a moment. Actually, let's take the right leg out and bring the left foot in towards the body. So that right leg out, or do your mirror image. And just see how this left knee feels. So if having the heel pulled in close means that you get a bit of sensitivity in the knee, see if it helps to slide a blanket in underneath. Or if you need to move that heel a little further away from you so that the knee's not quite as tightly closed, that can help as well. So just make sure that knee's happy. Flex your right foot so the toes point up to the ceiling. And then let's just take the fingertips out in front of us. Sitting tall and trying to equalize the amount of weight going down through each sit bone. It's an asymmetrical pose, so it won't be perfectly balanced. And then we're just going to start to walk the hands forward. So you can play around with how you use the hands in this forward fold. Start by pushing the hands down and forward and feel how that helps ground your hips back or your sit bones into the floor. And then start to almost feel like the hands are dragging back in towards the body. And notice how you might bring a little bit of weight off of that right sit bone, but then you get more lengthening in your spine. And then see if you can kind of find that happy point between the two where your spine is lengthening, but you're also just aiming to ground that right sit bone to the floor. Couple more breaths. If there's room to walk the hands a little further forward or to come down towards your forearms, please do. And then just walking the hands over towards that right leg, taking the right hand somewhere on your leg. The shin is fine, ankle is fine, foot is fine, wherever you can comfortably reach without compromising this left sit bone touching the floor. Take your hand onto your hip, roll that shoulder back, and we're just leaning to the side so we start to feel that stretch down that left side of the body. Couple of breaths there. And then decide whether that's enough for you, whether you just want to stay with the hand on the hip or whether you want to reach that top arm up and over. And just breathing into the side of your body. Nice deep breaths there, inhaling and exhaling. And then we're going to reach that left arm up. Take an inhale, bring yourself up. As you exhale, place that hand down just next to your left hip. Point your right toes. So your modified variation is just to come into a gentle counter side stretch. So opening up that right side of your body. Or you can come up into your wild thing where we lift the hips up. Again, you have the choice to keep it as a side stretch or to take it into a heart opener by starting to open the chest towards the ceiling and let the head drop back. Inhale here, and as you exhale, release the hips back down to the floor. Take the right hand to the leg, inhale, left arm up and over, and exhale into your lateral flexion, so your side stretch. A full breath here, inhale and exhale. And then breathe in, that left arm up. Breathe out, place the hand down. You know, you can modify, or you can come into your wild thing by lifting the hips. Keep your pubic bone, hip bones pressing forward and the heart opening. Exhale, releasing the hips down, coming back into your side stretch. Inhale, exhale there. Final time. Modified wild thing, or lifting the hips all the way up. And then exhale to bring yourself down onto the mat and change sides. So just taking that left leg out to the side, bend that right knee in. Again, just check that the right knee is happy. Use support, so sliding a blanket in underneath, or just wriggle the foot a bit further forward. That can help as well. And then we are sitting nice and tall, fingertips just down in front of us. And then just see, is there space to walk forward? You stop whenever it's enough. Again, perhaps playing around with grounding by pushing the hands down and forward. And then playing around with lifting the chest by sliding the hands back and towards your body. Couple of rounds of breath there. Sinking a little deeper into it if there's space to. Final round of breath, inhaling there and exhaling there. And then placing your left hand onto your left shin, ankle, or foot. Just bringing that right hand onto your right hip, rolling the shoulder back. Breathing there. So again, grounding down through that right sit bone. Inhale, reaching that right arm up. As you exhale, taking it into your side stretch. And take your gaze wherever it is the most comfortable for your neck. That might be up, it might be looking straight ahead, it might be looking down towards that left leg. Giving yourself one more deep breath here. And then inhaling to lift that top arm up. Exhale, placing that hand just down next to your hip. Again, you can modify just by coming into that counter side stretch, or you can take the hips up into your wild thing, hips forward and heart opening. Side stretch variation, or you can take it into the heart opening variation. Keep a little bit of softness in that supporting elbow. As you exhale, releasing the hips down and then coming into your side stretch again. So we start to flow a little bit, taking a breath in here, exhaling into the stretch, breathing in to come out, placing that hand down and then lifting up. Wild thing. Let's go through it one more time each way. Inhale, exhale. Breathing in, breathing out. Last time, modify or lifting all the way up. And then bringing yourself all the way back down. Give the legs a little bit of a shake out in front of you. And then we'll make our way over onto the hands and the knees. So, crossing the ankles, rolling yourself over onto all fours. And then just taking the hands slightly in front of the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Spread the fingers and tuck the toes under. We'll roll through a few cat-cows and include a few downward dogs in there as well. Take an inhale, dip the belly down, lift the sit bones, lift the chest. As you exhale, round the spine, draw up through the belly and the front ribs. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do that one more time, breathing in. As you breathe out, round the spine, float the knees half an inch away from the floor, and then really slowly move the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Taking a breath once you arrive. Inhale, float high to the balls of the feet. Exhale, lower the knees down, let them touch the mat at the same time. Inhale through and up into your cow pose. Exhale into your cat stretch. Breathing in. Coming through and up. Exhale, rounding into your cat. Final time, inhale. Exhale, lifting the knees. Hope goes straight to downward dog. Rest of us, we're holding for a moment and then slowly lifting the hips all the way up and back. Starting to open the backs of the legs, maybe a little pedaling out, one heel down, other heel down. Last deep breath here. Transitioning back to the mat, heels lift up high. We lower the knees down, let them land at the same time. And we're into our last round. Inhaling, belly dipping down, sit bones, chest lifting. Exhale, rounding, chin, tailbone tucking underneath. Couple more in your own time. Final round, getting ready to move back to downward dog. Again, hope moving straight to downward dog. Rest of us just floating the knees just off the floor for a moment. And then slowly extending the legs into our full pose. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And just pause here for a moment, close the eyes. Feeling that connection down through the hands and feet, so that little bit of traction, pushing the hands down and forward to help bring a little more weight into the feet. If a lot of body weight is forward in your arms, bend your knees and try and lift your hips higher to straighten your spine. And then we're taking a little bend at the knees, looking forward to the hands and starting to walk the feet up to the top of the mat. Feet come to hip width apart. We're going to bend the knees, hold on to opposite elbow, and just give ourselves a little bit of a sway here. If you need a bit of support for your back, bring the hands onto the mat or onto your thighs. Heads below the heart, so standing forward fold counts as an inversion. Really focus on those slow, steady exhales while you're here. And then let's bend the knees a little more. Hands to thighs if you need the support. Otherwise, lifting the tummy and starting to roll yourself all the way up. Head comes up last of all. And then just keeping the arms at the sides of the body for a moment, breathing in your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Palms facing forward so that your shoulders roll out. And just think about drawing the shoulder blades in towards each other to help open up the chest. And we'll move through a really slow flow here just to keep building heat in the body. So start with a little bend at your knees. Hook your thumbs. Reach the arms forward and up. So you start to open the chest. Keep the knees bent as you exhale. Swing the arms back. Interlace the hands behind you. Come into your double angle stretch. So I hope if you need a little more space, take the feet wider. Otherwise, feet hip width should be the right distance for us. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, drop the fingertips down to the ground. We're stepping that right leg back and then placing that right knee down. So if you're on a hard surface, feel free to use the blanket underneath the knee to pad it up. We're going to push into that left big toe. Raise the arms forward and up, hooking the thumbs and coming into our Anjaneyasana, our low lunge. So you can see I draw my hips back quite a lot. So instead of hanging out here quite far forward, I'm coming back. So it's more about lifting the torso and the chest up and then trying to take the arms back. So not really back bending here, just finding space in the front of the body. Opening up the hip flexors. And then just take hold of your right wrist with the left hand. Reach those right fingertips up to the sky and then take it into a side stretch. So body weight presses down through that right knee and reaches up and over through the right fingertips. Come back to center. Exhale to frame that front foot. Tuck the back toes underneath. Step back, downward dog. Full breath here. Let's inhale up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, float the knees down onto the floor. So hope you can stick with that little cat-cow routine, doing 3, then moving back to downward dog. The rest of us are going to bring the body weight forward into the hands, bend the elbows and lower chest and chin so your hips stay high. This is Ashtanga Namaskar. 8-point pose, and then we're going to slide through onto the belly into our cobra, low, medium or high, see how the body feels. And then as we exhale, we're all going to meet back in downward facing dog. So I'm giving some different variations this morning for people who are modifying, but stick with what feels right for your body. Another inhale and exhale here. And then bending the knees, looking forward. Let's step that right foot forward between the hands. Drop that left knee down. Again, pressing into right big toe and then raising the arms, hooking the thumbs and lifting the chest. So again, thinking up, lift up first and then take the arms back. So really we're trying to create space down the front of the left thigh and left hip. Added bonus with that lift in the chest, we create a bit of space in the front of the upper body. And then let's grab hold of the left wrist. Inhale, reach those left fingertips up. Exhale to take it into a side stretch over to the right. So left knee dropping down, left fingertips reaching up and over. We get even more of a stretch. Inhale, come back to center. Frame your front foot and step that back foot to the front of the mat. Start to roll yourself up to standing. Halfway up, hook the thumbs, squeeze the glutes, send the arms forward and up. Knees are still bent. Inhale. Exhale, keep the knees soft, swing the arms behind you. Interlace the hands, your double angle stretch. Inhaling here, knees are still soft. Exhale, fingertips down to the floor. This time, left leg steps back. Exhale, left knee down onto the mat. Breathing in, raise the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, sinking into that lunge a little more. Breathing in. Breathing out, framing your front foot. Tuck the back toes, step it back, downward dog. Inhale, high to the tippy toes. Exhale, knees coming down onto the mat. Again, hope sticking with that little cat-cow flow. The rest of us are coming forward, and then we lower down Ashtanga Namaskar. Chin and chest down first. Slide through onto the belly, cobra. Exhale, let's all meet back in our downward facing dog. Take a full breath. Inhale and exhale. Bend the knees, look forward, step that left foot between the hands. Place that right knee down. We are coming up, Anjaneyasana, hooking the thumbs, letting the chest open. Exhale, letting the hips sink a little further forward. Breathing in, breathing out, framing that front foot, stepping forward to the top of the mat. Soft knees, roll yourself up halfway, hook the thumbs. Inhale, sweep the arms forward and up. Let's do one more to each side. Exhale into your shoulder stretch. Breathing in, breathing out, fingertips down to the floor. Step that right leg back. This time, keep that back knee lifted. Come up into your crescent lunge. Use that left leg for support on the way up if you need to. And then reach the arms. Full crescent lunge. Take hold of your right wrist. Reach those right fingertips up to the sky. And then take it over into your side stretch. So we reach up and over to the left. Breathing in. Breathing out back to center. Frame your front foot. So again, use that hand for support on the way down if you need to. Step back, downward dog. Full breath. Inhale, coming high to the balls of the feet. Exhale, knees down, either modifying cat-cow sequence or Ashtanga Namaskar, elbows in close to the body. Slide through, cobra. Heart forward, shoulders drawing back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Full breath here. Bend the knees, look forward, right foot forward between the hands. Back knee stays lifted, making your way up into your crescent lunge. Arms reaching forward and up, so arms are shoulder width apart. Thumbs pointing back behind us to get that external rotation here at the shoulders. Take hold of your left wrist. Reach those left fingertips up to the sky and then stretch up and over to the right. So we press away through that left heel and that should create a big stretch up that left side of the body. Deep breath here. Come back to center, making your way down. Frame that front foot and then step to the front of the mat. Roll yourself up halfway. Keep the knees soft, hook the thumbs, reach the arms forward and up. Inhale here. Exhale, swing the arms back, shoulder stretch. Hands interlace behind the back. Breathing in. Exhale, fingertips down. This time, step your left leg back. Place that left knee down. Heel toe your right foot out to the edge of your mat. We're sitting into our lizard lunge. So just gently opening around the pelvis, pressing down through the right big toe. We're holding here for 5 deep breaths. You can stay up on the hands. If you're comfortable coming down onto the forearms, you can, but we're trying not to hang out into the pelvis. So keep pushing down through this right foot. Keep a gentle lift in your pelvic floor and a lift in the lower belly. Neck is in line with the spine wherever you are. Deep breaths here. So although we are working on releasing around the hips and pelvis, we do that from a really supported position. So tummy's lifting. We're not just hanging out into this shape. Give yourself another deep breath here. Tuck the back toes, lift that back knee away from the floor, step back, downward dog. And then inhale, let's lift the heels high. Exhale, knees down. Back to your little cat-cow flow or Ashtanga Namaskar to lower, elbows in. Breathing in, heart forward, shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Full breath here. Inhale and exhale. Bending the knees, looking forward to that left hand. Step that left foot forward. Place that right knee down and then heel toe that left foot out a little wider. So setting up for our lizard lunge on this side. Check that your hands or your fingertips are level with the tips of the toes. We want to make sure that this left knee is straight over the ankle. So we've got that safe alignment of the joints. And again, see how it feels. If you worked your way down onto forearms on the other side, try it here. But again, we're aiming not to collapse. So staying supported, keep your tummy lifted, connect into the pelvic floor. Spine is long, neck is in line with the spine. Let's take our final round of breath. Coming back up onto the hands, let's heel toe that left foot back to the center of the mat. Tuck those back toes underneath, step that right foot forward to the front of the mat. Bend the knees, start rolling yourself up, one vertebrae at a time. Restacking the whole spine, coming back into your Tadasana. Your mountain pose, roll those shoulders up, back, and down. Just gently drawing the shoulder blades in towards each other. Take a nice deep breath. Breathing in, standing tall. Drop the tailbone down. As you exhale, bend the knees. Turn the palms in towards your body and start rolling yourself forward. Upper, middle, lower back, all releasing. As you come back into your forward fold, take hold of your big toes with the peace fingers and the thumbs, so we're making a loop. Take an inhale, just look forward, bend the knees as much as you need to. So aiming to straighten the spine as we come into this halfway lift. And then as you exhale, bend the elbows towards the back of the mat, crown of the head down. Take the body weight into the balls of the feet. And we start to feel the hamstrings working a little more. So remember the two actions here. We use the hands to draw the crown of the head down. And then we use the muscles wrapping around the back of the rib cage to draw the shoulder blades away from our neck. Belly in. 2 more deep breaths in your Padangusthasana, hand to big toe pose. And then inhale, halfway lift again. Release the big toes, place your hands down, stepping back into your downward dog. And then let's counter that by lifting the heels up, dropping the knees down to the mat, letting them land at the same time, and coming into your puppy pose. Sliding the hands forward, lower down onto the forearms, onto the forehead, and breathe here. Deep breaths. And just letting the chest melt down towards the floor, keeping that sense of connection into the lower belly. There's a gentle lift. Again, we don't just want to hang out and collapse around our joints. We want to stay supported. We get the stretch where we need it into the muscles into the web of connective tissue, fascia through the body. Take another 2 deep breaths here in your puppy pose. And then start to shuffle the elbows back. Take the knees a little wider. Sit the hips to heels. Move into your child's pose. You might have the head down on the floor or onto the backs of your hands. And then just tune into a lovely calm rhythm of breath. Finding softness in the face as you breathe. Releasing tension from the shoulders, neck, and jaw. Two more deep breaths. And then start rolling yourself up to sitting on the heels. And let's come forward to the hands and the knees. I'll face you for this next one. We're going to take our right leg out to the side, left knee and right toes roughly on the same level. Bring the body weight into your left hand. Inhale, take that right arm up. As you exhale, thread the needle, right arm underneath the left. Wrap that arm around your body. Place the hand onto your shoulder. Inhale, unravel. Opening the chest up to the ceiling. Exhale into your twist, into that thread the needle, releasing the upper back. One more time, breathing in and breathing out. And then releasing, right hand back down to the floor, right knee back and underneath the hip, and changing sides, taking that left leg out. Again, just checking toes and knee roughly on the same level. Body weight to the right hand. Inhale, that left arm up. And then as you exhale, threading that arm underneath, wrapping it around, placing the hand just onto your shoulder or shoulder blade. Inhale, unravel, reach the fingertips up. Exhale, thread the needle, wrap it around. Let's do our final one. Inhale and exhale. And then taking that left hand back down, left knee back down. You can sit your legs over to the side, bring the hips back, and then come into a comfortable seat, perhaps using your blanket for underneath the sit bones if you'd like a little bit of height. And I thought we could just practice our alternate nostril breathing here for a few rounds and start to wind down into our Shavasana. So if you're familiar with your alternate nostril breathing, Anuloma Viloma, or also called Nadi Shodhana, you're welcome just to close the eyes and get ready to start. If you need a little demonstration, feel free just to watch me for a moment. I can do the first round and you can join in. So take the peace fingers of the right hand onto the space between the eyebrows. If you're watching, I'm not doing the mirror image here. This is my right hand. Use your right hand. Peace fingers just to that space between the eyebrows, letting the weight of the head lean into the fingertips. Inhale deeply. Block your right nostril, exhale completely. Inhale, left nostril. Use your ring finger to block the left and exhale, right nostril. Inhale, right. Block the right, exhale, left. That's one full round. Inhale, left. Block the left, exhale, right. Inhale, right. Exhale, left. Inhale, left. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Exhale, left. 3 rounds. Do another 3 in your own time. The next time you exhale out through your left nostril, or complete your 3 rounds, and there's no rush to do so. Just release your right hand down onto your knee and take a few deep breaths there. It's a beautiful, calming breathing technique. There's no contraindications. You can practice it at any time, even with high blood pressure or if you're pregnant. Sometimes it can get a little tricky if the nose is blocked, but it does tend to help clear the nasal passages. That's what Nadi Shodhana means, cleansing of the nadis, the nasal passages. And beautiful technique that you can practice in the afternoon if you get the 3 o'clock slump, need some energy. Quite refreshing and re-energizing. So from here, keeping the body as relaxed as possible without disturbing lovely focus and concentration. Just setting yourself up for relaxation. Perhaps something for underneath the head, something to cover the body to keep that heat in. We generate heat through our practice. We want to keep it in the body. And then bringing yourself down. So using any cushions or props that you have around you to make it really comfortable. Again, you can choose whether you'd like the soles of the feet on the floor, knees up to the ceiling, or knees just knocking in against each other. Constructive rest position, or whether you are more comfortable coming into your full Shavasana. Or if there's another alternative that works better for you, lying on the left side of the body, or joining the soles of the feet together, letting the knees open out to the sides. Whichever option you take, either turning the palms up to the ceiling or letting the hands rest on the belly. And just feeling the weight of the body dropping down into your mat. And at first we are aware of those different surfaces beneath us, Over a few breaths, that line of separation blurs, and it just feels like we are sinking down into the mat, into our supports. Embracing that slow rhythm of your breath. Using this time to integrate all the benefits of your practice, letting the nervous system do its work, and just observing. Scanning your internal landscape, observing sensations in your body, observing the flow of your breath, observing the movements of the mind. We watch every thought, an idea that comes into the mind, a bit like we are watching a movie play out on a big screen. Watch every image that plays out on that screen, knowing that the screen itself isn't going to be affected. Mind is a bit like that. Many thoughts and stories and images come in, but we ourselves are untouched by that. We're just observing. Feeling your whole body relax. Allowing yourself deeper and deeper into your relaxation. And then just allowing a bit more of the external world in, noticing those sounds around you, inviting a little bit of movement back into the fingertips, into the toes, and then rolling out your ankles, maybe your wrists, stretching the legs out if the knees are bent, reaching the arms all the way up, giving yourself a lovely full body stretch there on your mat. And then just grounding one foot, grounding the other foot, easing yourself off onto the side of the body. Left side connected to more calming energy, right side connected to that active energy of the sun. And then rolling all the way over, using hands to support yourself as you come on up to any comfortable seat. Just to close our practice here, sitting tall, joining the hands together at the heart, And coming back to that intention you set at the start of your practice, that thing you wanted to cultivate on the mat and take with you into the rest of your day. Let's breathe in here, exhaling the head down to the heart center to seal your practice. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.